Okay, so we're saying you come up with the population, then you'll come up with a sampling unit, which you already talked about. This is the item you're going to look at. Okay, if it's in this case data, you're going to look at the data themselves, what you're calling it trade receivables balances. Okay, then the misstatement or deviation. In the other case, it was deviation because there were tests of what? Test of controls. But this is a test of details, what you call substantive tests. What you're looking out for is a misstatement, not the deviation. So a misstatement is that this is where the audit amount, what you confirm as the exact balance of the client or of the customer, is different from the recorded amount. That will be a misstatement. Then how do we come up with the sample size? Now the sample size from our formula, we know that it is determined using, you're going to do the judgment first of all, and then MUS tables. I think I forgot. Let me remember this MS in full. It's somewhere. Just a moment. Find MUS. Yes.
Those are monetary unit samples.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Monetary unit samples. Where do we stop? Okay, so monetary unit samples. Or a formula based on the audit guidelines or GADs. Now, the sample size is given by, okay, preferably here they use formulas, which is given by the population. I prefer we use this one here. It's what you call, now this information will give you what you call a sample interval. Sample interval is given by a formula that says confidence, it's actually not confidence, but rather, how do you call it? Permanent, not permanent. Forgetting the other part, but it's a PM, I think it's permanent materiality. Or if you don't have that given, you have tolerable misstatement. Then this is divided by confidence. Okay. For this one, you just have to know it, unfortunately. And now from this one, we know from our previous example that sample size, okay, from systematic sampling, you know that sample size is given by the population value divide by, okay, not necessarily this, but rather is it that one or is it the other round? I think I'm right. Population interval from systematic, it's given by population value divided by sample size or sample value. Okay, that's how we end up having sampling. But we also know that sampling interval, I've just removed the thing, I wish I left it there, but I can rewrite it, no problem. Sample interval is also given by the PM, what they call permanent materiality. Yeah, and then tolerable. So either permanent or tolerable statement. Divide by the confidence. Okay, now from this, you can actually come up with this sample size, this formula here. Okay, by making one the subject. From the first one, we can see that the sample size from the first equation, sample size is given by the population population value divided by sample interval. You can all see that from equation 1. From 1. Okay. So if I substitute sampling interval in it, we're saying sample size is going to be equal to the population divided by, allow me use that, divide by sample size is given by sample interval is given by the tolerable statement, okay, divide by confidence factor. So as you can see, if you cross multiply, I wanted to use this division sign that we normally know. But anyway, in short, the thing will end up being like this: sample size be equal to population times this time. Now the other things will flip to be confidence level, this factor rather, divide by variable misstatement, which is this thing here down. Okay, population recorded times confidence level divided by tolerable misstatement. Okay, then we continue. Now that's how we capture the sampling size. Now meaning that you don't have, okay, we have population, but we don't have confidence level yet. We don't know it. We're going to assume it. We don't have tolerable misstatement. We don't know the rate yet. We're going to assume it. Okay, so they give us some little information here. They say that there are 3 assurance levels. Okay, where they're saying assurance level from the test, when it's high, the confidentiality level is 95%, and the factor is confidence factor is 3, and so on and so on. So that is okay. So we're given these, which is fine. Now our issue is regarding our trade receivables, or as regarding our audit. What is our confidence level? That is 1. And what is our tolerable misstatement? So that we call it audit and we start doing what else. So they say that here you make an assumption that tolerable misstatement is set at 9 million. Okay. I'm allowed to change this and use my own, or you guys want me to use these notes? Okay. By the way, this tolerable misstatement, you can, based on your judgment as an auditor, you can choose your own. So I need to choose something different, like maybe 15. Okay, so that I have married this time will be different. Okay, so if I choose 15 out of the total population of 207, what do you get? Someone should help me compute. 15 million divided by 207 million to 95 million. What do you get as a percentage? Kindly share with me so I put it here. Okay, so this is my assumption. Then the 5 balances exceeding. Okay, now what is exceeding tolerable misstatements? The 15M will not be 5 balances like you're putting it here, because what I have here is, if you may check, okay, what I have here, items that exceed 15M, they are only 3, okay, and they're valued at 88 million. So I'll use those. So I'll come and say the 3 balances instead, not 5. Okay, the 3 balances exceeding my tolerable misstatement of 15M total, not to this one, but rather to 80 something. Okay, I'm not confusing you. 88,950. Okay, to be tested 100%. So these ones here, we have what we call specific items. Items that you look at because of their nature, that they are, for example, now this is high value, they're above 15M. There's no way you can include them in the sample. So instead, you get them aside and look at each, okay? Because this is material amount, 15M. Okay, so they'll be tested 100%, meaning that you're going to look at them individually. Thanks, 7.2. Okay, then the sample will be selected from the remaining, and then 35, the remaining balance not 35, but rather 38. Okay, not 38, but 37, sorry. Okay, that's 7 plus 3, you get 40. All right. The total will be how much? You get me, let me add 71 plus 47, or you can say 207 minus the 88. What do you get as the total that is remaining? $71, 230 plus 47, 10. Someone should add for me. Oh, you say 207 minus 88. You're supposed to have the same answers. Okay, as we wait for answers, you can be moving on. Otherwise, you're supposed to add the remaining ones, which are 10 plus 27, you get 37. Okay, that is 118. Okay, thanks. Okay, 118. So they're saying the risk of material misstatement is moderate. They're saying it's moderate. So moderate ideally is supposed to use 90%. Okay, and substantive tests of transactions and substantive analytical procedures have not detected any material misstatement. So here it means that the expected rate of deviation, not of deviation, but of misstatement this time, of misstatement is 0. Okay. So they're saying therefore the confidence level is at 90%, you agree, because it's moderate. And using the table above, the confidence level factor will be 2. Okay. Therefore, the sample size of ours, if you go with this formula that we have, this one here, which you know how to come up with, it's saying it's equal to the sample size, which is not this now, but rather the 118, okay, divided by 2020. Okay, it's rather the 118, which is the sample, which is the population, times confidence factor, which I've seen is a 2, then divide by tolerable misstatement, which is not 9, but rather 15. So someone should help us compute. What do you get as the answer? The answer, Shakira, answer in your calculator times 2 divided by 15. Okay, so whatever you get will be your sample size. Okay. Now, after having your sample size, we're saying you're supposed now to consider selecting now the sample. Okay, I have the size now. Let me select the sample. In selection, I already told you that you either use computerized kind of assistant, which helps you to generate all these items. But because this is non-statistical and therefore judgmental, sorry, I can't have this big figure here. 157. I don't think you're right. It's divided by 15 million. It is 15 million. You add 6 zeros on this one. Sample size can't be that big, so it's fairly small. This is 15 million, so add the 3 zeros there. Okay, so I was saying, if it was the other systematic, it's not systematic, but the random statistical sampling, then on selecting, would just use either random number generators or any form of computerized accounting that helps you to generate figures randomly of the 30. Okay, so but for this non-systematic, where we use judgment, we go step by step. So 15, I'll make it now 16, round off to 16. Okay, so what we do is, as the population is stratified, a high proportion of the sample is allocated to the larger strata balances. Okay, remember now what is remaining in the sample. Let me share with you this strata here. We say this first strata, the entire class of this one was taken aside and looked at entirely. So it's not making part of the samples or the remaining population. So our eyes are only on these two classes. So however, because of the fact that some items have higher value, for judgment purposes and being objective, we shall always consider the ones that have high value. We shall always have to include them in the sample until at least we have no more. Okay, so the 10 will make part of the sample because the sample is once how many? 16? It wants 16. So therefore, the 10 must make part of the sample, and the reason is clear that the 10 is worth 71 million. That's huge value. There's no you can consider taking 47 million and therefore choosing from the 27, yet you have a high value, okay, class of 71. So our first 10 will come from this strata of 5 to 10, and then the remaining 6 will come from the second strata. Okay, I hope we're together on that one. So if I take you to what I was just saying, okay, saying a high proportion of the sample is allocated to the larger strata balances, of course. Now all remaining, now they're not 8 remaining, they're actually 10. All remaining balances, all 10 remaining balances in stratum 2 are selected together with the 14, not 14, but rather 6. Yeah, to make the 16. With the 16 balances from strata 3, so the sample may be selected haphazardly from stratum 3, because strata 3, remember, it's having a balance. So I may share with you. Okay, for this 10, we're taking only 10, so there's no chances of you losing out one. But now on the 27, because we're choosing only 6 out of the 27, we now want to find a way of choosing the 6 from 27. That's why we're saying you apply the haphazard thing, where you just either close your eyes or for some reason just say, you give me the first 6. Okay, whatever you choose. That's what they mean. Yeah. So after coming up with your sample, selecting the items, we go to now performing the audit procedures. Let's see. Performing audit procedures on the items. Let me remove this one from this side. Okay, now on performing the audit procedures, what do we do? You remember that for receivables, if you want to really be sure of their balances, the best way is to do confirmations, what we call external confirmations. So, and here they're saying that you assume positive confirmation letters are sent to the 5 big, this was actually not 5, but there were 3 only. Okay, the 3 big, the specific item, the 3 big, and then the 22 customers that we have seen, not 22 but 16 rather, the sample. Okay, and misstatements are checked in each balance, confirmed, and using alternative procedures on others not confirmed. So when they did this, where they issued letters to customers for confirmation, this is what they found as the results. They're saying, assuming the following were the results that were obtained. You have the 5 balances. Let me put them as 6. Okay, now this is going to affect our everything. The three main balances above the total misstatement. When you add them together, they are only 88, not this big. It's going to affect our results here, fortunately, but it's well. So we have an 88. This is what was recorded. 88. Okay, not this one, because this one is when you add all the others. Okay, so 88. Now they're saying if the auditor confirmed this as the figure, I think it will be so significant. Maybe let's say he found out 20 is 90. 955. Okay, for his computation. So that means this will be 2 million. Okay, what if that was the difference? Okay, and then the remaining from the strata there were 10, not 8, but 10. Okay, they recorded 10. We know that they are this 71. Okay, 71. So there was 71. Okay, and assuming that the auditor found a lesser figure, yes, but less in the sense that maybe 70. 70,235. I'm just trying to be creative here. Okay, so the difference will be 1M. Okay, but this one is positive because the recorded was bigger. Okay, so overstatement. And then the rest of the balance, which is 6, because I was 16. So that 3. 6 will be how many? Okay, assuming this is why the figures don't change. So and like that to give us the 16. We add this together. Okay. The main balance was how much? Was how many? Sorry. Let's see. This is 3, 9, 19. That would be 21. Okay, so the 21. Now, and that was the balance. Okay, so this was your findings when you performed your audit. 21 of 19 when you add them together. Okay, those will not be the same, and I think the modification was a wrong idea. However, we move on. So this is what you recorded. So what the auditor found out, and they had variances, or what you call deviations, not deviations, but misstatements. So what do we do? Now we have to project these misstatements to our population so that they make the actual. We confirm the real misstatement in the entire population. So what to do in that regard, it was a serious step. I think I missed explaining it in full. Okay, but the first thing is to project. Now for projection, what we do is you get the misstatement, divide by the sample times the book value. Actually, it was before it was the population times the population. Okay. Now, our from SOTA 3, there are only 6. Okay. So if if our misstatement is 1.455, like it is, divide by the 24, which is this one here, the one in the book, the sample. Then times the book value. The book value is given by, you see from chapter 3, where is it? Our population. Chapter 3 is this one here, the 47. Remember, we sampled something from here. There were 27, we just chose only 6. And we chose them haphazardly. So because of choosing that, we're saying for you to determine the estimated misstatement in the entire 27 is when you get the misstatement in the 6 alone and divide by the sample size. And then you multiply it by the total population of what? Of this 47, which was regarding to 27. Okay, I hope we are good. So that's what they did here. You get where is it? Okay. So you get the misstatement of the 6 divided by the total or the first value of the 6, and you multiply it by the 47, meaning the population regarding the entire 27. So whatever figure you get, which is in this case 2.7, we add now the actual misstatements from the 3 that we counted manually. Okay, and the difference was, from what I put here, it was just 2m. 2m. Okay, and then the actual of 8. The 8 in this case, we didn't have actually an 8, we had instead a 10. Yeah, and the 10 misstatement of the 10 is it was 1m, as you see it here, 1m. That's what you bring here. On M, and it's positive. Okay, then projected overstatement is this one, 2.7. Then you add them together. So when you add them together, I don't know what you're getting here, but should be close to 2 will disappear. So we have 1.786. So that is what you have. And now this is your projected, these are your findings. That when you look at your sample, yeah, it will lead you into concluding that the entire population has a misstatement of 1.786 million. So how do we now evaluate? Because like I already told you, the steps are sample design, sample size, then select the sample. After getting the sample, you perform audit procedures. From the audit procedures, you come up with findings, and these are now our findings, this misstatement here. And then after coming up with findings, supposed to evaluate, okay, those findings. Are they correct or wrong? They make sense or they don't make sense? And now in conclusion, we say that the population is estimated to be overstated by this figure here, not 1.7, but rather 1786. Okay. So as the misstatement of 97, this very misstatement of 786 is lower than the tolerable misstatement that we agreed upon, which is 15, then we say that our trade receivables may not be materially misstated. Okay, that's how we conclude these things. Based on your findings and your expectations, if the sample does not meet your expectations, then we say it's a good performance. But if the sample exceeds the expectations, like the misstatement is so high or deviations are very high, then we say for test of controls, you want to perform more substantive tests. Then for test of details, you want to engage management so that they can adjust. If they refuse to adjust these figures, then you want to consider qualifying your report. So that is what you call sampling. Okay, so unless you have any questions, that is how we do non-systematic sampling. Then we got the final sampling, which is monetary unit sampling, the MUSs. Okay, this one is used in substantive tests of details. Okay.
Katabazi.
Yes, Shakira.
Where did you get the odd results? Was it projected then the difference written, but the second one else and
Which second one? Because projected misstatement.
when you go up a bit, the audited amount, because I know where we got the recorded amount, but the audited amount.
So for the amounts, they said it was an assumption. They said, yeah, assume. Yeah? Assume from your findings or from your results. When you performed the audit procedures and you found these as reality, okay, that the auditors came up with their figures, and in the records they're saying this. So the auditors' amounts actually assumed. It's an assumption, but in reality, these are things that auditors come up with. That when they write to management, I mean to customers, through confirmation letters, and customers come up with values that are different from what you have in the books, it's what they will consider as correct. Because from our objectives and what we've been doing since questions, external sourced evidence is more accurate or is more reliable than internally generated evidence. So this one comes from external evidence confirmations that we sent out. Then when guys replied, or when customers replied, we realized that the balance is actually 90.9, 70.2, 23. Okay, so I hope I've answered your question, Shakira.
So in an exam, do we assume them for ourselves in case the question is broad?
Okay. In an exam, like you saw in question one, like the one we did earlier, it didn't even have anything like content, anything like numericals, anything like figures. It didn't have. The one we did earlier. Let me show you this one here. See, they bring a question like this. Okay, here. And they tell you to find us the answer. There are no figures involved, but you're supposed to have an idea of what you're looking at, what you expect and what you see. So you come with the population and stuff like that. Now, if an exam is not like this as clean that you just come with your own answers and you put, they will give you information that will guide you through. They will give you information, that's for sure. Okay, so whenever they don't give you information, then that's why they're saying you assume. Okay. So you also tell them that assuming that this is what I found, and this is how I conclude. Okay. Monitoring sampling. Monitoring sampling usually it's so much to do with values. It's all about amounts, money. Okay, this link is about to close, so I think we should start on this sample on the new link. Okay, so for now, let me take in more questions. If you have any questions regarding what I've just covered.